Hi, James Harrison here to talk about the next daily drumming influences revisited. Today, it's going to be a drummer that most people aren't going to know, and I'll try to explain this. The guy is Robert Johnson from Murray, Kentucky. I believe he lives in Alabama now. Robert was a drummer who was, I want to say, 2 years younger than me. Could be more. But Robert was a very talented but also very driven drummer in Murray High School and the Murray City Schools when I was there. And I think he came in. I think he came in when I was a junior, but it could have possibly been when I was a senior. But the point is, he pushed me to not be so lazy, if you want to call it that. I was the section leader, and I had gotten first chair, and most of the time and stuff like that in my career in high school and whatnot, and auditions and all that kind of stuff. And then Robert came along, and all of a sudden there was somebody on my heels or pushing me because he practiced, and just became a drive for me to get better, because all of a sudden I had somebody challenging me, so to speak, not out front in my face challenging me, but pushing me to not get beat, if you want to call it that. And so everybody needs that at some point in their life, and for me that person was Robert. And no rivalry of any kind that I know. And he went on to become the section leader and doing things like that. And I don't think he's a drummer for a living, but I know he participates in drumming now. But Robert was the first one that, not that I didn't have other drummers that pushed me or something like that, but basically from the time I was in band, I had been studying privately and doing things, and I think we studied with the same people, as a matter of fact. And I got to a certain point where I was basically in charge. I was the section leader. I was writing the parts. I was doing a lot of different things. After I graduated, they got a percussion instructor named Richard McClendon. But Robert was one of those guys that came up, and when I would hand out stuff, he'd have it ready to go. He'd prepare it. He would do everything. And one of those kind of guys, when all of a sudden they're there, it forces you to be on top of everything more. And like I said, everybody needs that kind of person in their drumming career at some point. And at that point, that was the first time I had really experienced that. Not that there were other people that weren't better than I was when I came in. What I'm saying is that once I got to a certain point, Robert was the one that lit a fire for me to get back in gear instead of just settling back and being comfortable with where I was. So the drumming influence for today, great person, great drummer, Robert Johnson, and originally from Murray, Kentucky.